होगा शायद ना।
आज फ्राइडे after 6-7 days we have come back to our Vashistha class. We discussed on Yoga Vasishtha Nirvana Prakaran, first half and 29th chapter. We were discussing about the dialogue between Ramji and the great Guru Vasishtha. In this, when Ramji heard about all the details of the eternal being, Kakavusandiji, the crow said, he never dies. And whatever he said to Vasishtha, Vasishtha told the same thing to Ramji about pranayam, and especially when you pay your attention on prana and apana, your breathing system, the breathing system stops. While observing this prana apana movement, he advised us to see the juncture in between prana and apana. That is the gap between two. And that is called the sandhya, means the steadiness of movement. In between, movement only can move when there is a break. And if there is no break, it is not called movement. One should pass over the past and accept the future. Then only movement is seen, and that is impossible without a break in between. That break in between is something very interesting, very scientific, and very philosophic. We discussed it very elaborately. And when mind is fixed upon that steady state between the two movements of prana and apana, then mind has to stop, and then the real truth, the absolute truth is experienced. And when one lives in that juncture all the time, then there is no birth or death for him. This is what we are discussing upon. And hearing all the detailed practice of spiritual sadhana, Ramji was so much enlightened, so much encouraged and enchanted, so much encouraged. He entered into samadhi. He entered totally into. After some time, all the when all the courtiers who were present at that time in that meeting hall, where Dasarath the king, father of Ramji, and other princes and other officials, and Guru Vasitji, Vishwamitraji, saints, everybody was present by the nectarian words of Vashistha. Everybody was saturated with bliss and everybody entered into samadhi state. After some time, when they come back to the ordinary mind level, then what happened? ये हम विचार कर रहे थे जो वशिष्ठ जी का जो वचन को सुन करके पूर्ण रूप से सुन करके राम जी तथा जितने सब लोग उधर थे सभा में सब समाधि में चले गए। उसके बाद थोड़ा देर के बाद क्या बात हुआ? वशिष्ठ उवाच, then वशिष्ठ जी ने कहा, हे श्री राम जी, आप भली प्रकार तत्व ज्ञानी हो चुके हैं, अपने आत्मा को प्राप्त कर चुके हैं, अतः इसी रीति से इस परमार्थ तत्व का अवलंबन कर विश्राम कीजिए। इस तुच्छ संसार में आस्था मत कीजिए। वशिष्ठ जी then told Ram, O Ram, you have attained the highest state of your being. अपना पूर्णत्व को प्राप्त हो चुके हो। You have entered into that silent zone that is called samadhi. In this way, you go to that height and be there and enjoy that state of equilibrium. Don't pay attention on the worldly subjects, objects, or relative transactions, daily transactions. Don't pay any attention to all these. These are all dreamy occurrences. Yeah, all these will pass away. Nothing will remain as it is. So this world is not reliable. Give up the thought of the world and enter into that silent zone. उसमें उपाय बतलाते हैं। What is the way? What is the way? हे रघुनंदन, यह संसार रूपी चक्र भ्रमण से तभी रुक जाता है जबकि एकमात्र संकल्प रूपी नाभि का भली प्रकार अवरोध किया जाता है। Vashistha gives the explanation how to achieve it. Of course, before it, he has explained so many, elaborately has explained so many things. Now again, he gives the example that when there is a central point, the outward cycle or circle goes on rotating around that central point, and one should enter into that central point, which is ever fixed, which is eternally unmoved, fixed, which is called center, around which the whole system goes rotating around it. He gives this example for the world. The whole world is a cycle, not one. There are innumerable cycles which goes on rotating again and again. That means if you say time, time is always a repeated uh, occurrence. Time repeats itself again and again. Anything you see in this world, everything repeats again and again. Time, space, conditions, wherever you go, whatever you see this spring comes again and again. Your winter comes again and again. The seed becomes a tree. Tree yields some fruits and seeds again. Those seeds again become trees, and tree again gives you seeds. So this goes on in a cycle. Oxygen becomes carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide becomes oxygen again and again. It repeats and goes on in a cycle. Whatever you see, everything goes round and round, repeats again and again. Around what? Around the one, absolute one, which is the center for the whole world, not one, innumerable creations, innumerable universes repeat again and again around one truth. Just as uh, the wheel goes round and round again and again for progress, for movement around the axis. Similarly, the whole world goes round and round, repeats it again and again. The fixed peg or the central point is absolute one. If you can fix it, of course, the center is always fixed. If you can fix it means if you can pay your attention on the axis, the central point, then you are free from all these cycles. You have to suffer not again in this cycle of world. And that is your mind. World means is your mind. Mind is called world. Why? Because mind is a continuous process, changing phenomena, which always rotates around the central point, that is the equilibrium. So thoughts are the process. If you can pay your thoughts, fix your thoughts on the central point, that is equilibrium, the heart, the greatest black hole, the cave of the heart. If you can fix your mind, that means If you can fix your positive and negative thoughts on the heart, which is absolutely steady, then you will get rid of these world cycles. भद्र संकल्पात्मक मनोरूप नाभि को राग द्वेष आदि से विक्षोभित भ्रमित यानी नचाए जाने पर यह संसार रूपी चक्र प्रयत्न से रोके जाने पर भी वेग पूर्वक नाचता ही रहता है. He says, Vashistha says, my dear Ram, all these thought waves, they repeat again and again, which is called the world cycle, and which is based upon attachment and hatred. राग और द्वेष के आधार पर ये मन चलता रहता है. This mind goes on the basement of attachment or likings, and detachment, that means hatred, that means non-receiving or avoiding. These two things, we call it raga and dvesa. The whole mind system is based upon this. And if you analyze it elaborately with meditative mood, 1.8 mood, this attachment and detachment is nothing but acceptance and rejecting. So that is, rejection means past. You have past that phenomena, and accepting means you are accepting the future. So forgetting the past and accepting the future or changing phenomena, that is what called raga and dvesa. Dvesa means giving up, that is past, and raga means acceptance, liking, that means planning for future. इसी प्रकार राग जो है आसक्ति, स्वीकार करना, वो है भविष्य. हम प्लान करते हैं हर पल में, अतीत को छोड़ देते हैं और भविष्य को ग्रहण करते हैं. इसी के बहाने समय का नौकर बन जाते हैं. अगर ये दोनों नहीं होगा, राग और द्वेष, तो मन चल ही नहीं सकता है. और त्याग और ग्रहण ये दोनों नहीं हो सकता है. और जबरदस्त तुमको एकाग्रता अथवा शांत स्थिति को जबरदस्त प्राप्त करो.
मन को अलग से नाम देने की जरूरत ही क्या है? मैं ही मन, मैं ही बुद्धि, मैं ही सब कुछ है, तो अलग से नाम देने से दिक्कत हो जा रहा है. मेरा
when you give up, that means you have left the past, and when you accept, like everybody likes the future, and plans for the future. That is called world. Passing the past and hoping for the future. That is called attachment and detachment. So all these are one phenomena named in different ways. You see, difference is the fundamental law of the nature. So, for one process, we have several names. Difference should be there. Without difference, no world can run. Difference is seen everywhere, every moment. Creating difference is the work of natural process of your creative power. That is the illusory power. That means that is called ignorance. Ignorance means there will be doubts. Doubts means you have to give up one and accept one. Then only doubt is possible. Doubt is always in between two. Whether this is like this or that is like that. Then only if there is no two, there is no doubt. And this doubt between two creates the difference. And without creating difference, the creation cannot exist. That is the law of nature. And that is how the creation is created. So, mind has got so many names. Not only mind. See, wherever you go, one object will have several names. You are asking why the mind is named as mind. Why? That means, have you got one name? You have got so many, 1,000 names. Everybody has 1,000 names. Every object has 1,000 names. If you see and think deeply, you will find nothing, no form has one name. Every form has 1,001 name. कोई भी रूप हो उसका एक नाम नहीं होता है और रूप भी एक कभी नहीं होगा. अनेकता तो संसार का नियम है. और मन का नाम क्यों मन दिया गया और क्यों संसार नहीं दिया गया? अरे एक नहीं मन संसार भी है, कर्म भी है, तुम्हारा जिंदगी भी है, मन भावना का स्रोत भी है, मन का नाम प्राण है, मन का नाम इंद्रिय है, सब कुछ मन ही है. अरे क्यों कैसा? क्यों मतलब क्या? क्यों नहीं मतलब क्यों और क्यों नहीं, इसका कोई सवाल नहीं उठता. यही है.
नहीं मन, नहीं इंद्रिय, नहीं बुद्धि, नहीं जानने वाला.
हाँ, जानने वाला तो अगर जान लिया तो फिर ये सवाल नहीं उठता है. मानते नहीं, नहीं जानते हो, नहीं जानते हो, नहीं मानते हो, नहीं जानते हो. जानने से ये सवाल नहीं उठेगा, नहीं उठ सकता है सवाल. If you know everything, all the names and forms belong to only one object, then you cannot have any doubt. You don't accept it because you have heard it. So somehow haphazardly you say if everything. There is no question of if or but in one. No if, no but in one. If there are two, all these words are used. If this is this, if like this will be like this, but it is not like this, all these if and buts are used only when doubt is there.
Swamiji, one more question is there.
One is doubtlessly one. There is no doubt.
Knowing
And when there is no doubtlessness, then doubts will be there. So go on asking eternally till you have not accepted the one. The moment you have accepted the one, then there is no such questions. There is no two. Then how can you put why this is named like this? There is no such questions. You have not accepted the one. That's why all these questions arise. Hanji.
Swamiji, it's a question which Mataji ne diya hai. If you have any time for question today, I would like to hear from Swamiji, what are the benefits of chanting Om, the primordial sound of the first disturbance in the universal balance?
Okay.
Just we have already
Come to it.
Yes.
So, see, try to understand to its depth. गहराई तक सोच करके उसको समझो क्या बोला गया. ये ऐसी बात नहीं बोला जाता. Whatever we are discussing upon, it is not ordinary subject. Just haphazard you see, hear something and go on putting questions. Think over it again and again. Then only you see what is the reality. You have to think over it. First of all, here, what have you heard? You have to contemplate over it, not once, 1,000 times, repeatedly. And then only you can go into the depth of meaning of what you have heard.
I'm deep on it.
And when you have come to the central point, such questions will never arise. There is no if and buts. Mind is nothing but the absolute truth when it is not mind. When it is not working as mind, its existence is, which is the basement existence. If you say mind is there, something is there which is not visible, and that's how you have named it as mind, not only one. When it changes, it will have several names. When it changes, it will have several names. When you go from one place to another place, in between, say it is 30 kilometers from each other. From one point you have started and you have to reach 30 kilometers away your target. Can you question why these numbers of milestones change? Can you put? Did you put ever such questions? Because it is changing, so it have to change. When you are changing, the milestones also will change. Why the mind has so many names? Not only mind, what object you see, which has got only one name and which never changes. Can you say one name? Yes.
Mind is also called Chitta, Swamiji.
What?
Mind and Chitta. Are both the same or different?
Hey Bhagavan, everything is different from each other. From one angle it appears different, from other angle it looks the same. See how many fingers? How many?
No, Swamiji.
How many?
One is appearing only.
When the angles change, it appears to be one or two or three, several things you can see. When your angle of vision changes, the whole world changes. Mind is changing phenomena, so it will have several meanings, several names, several forms. No two thoughts can be equal. Then only it is called two thoughts. If they are completely equal to each other, there will be only one. Equilibrium brings you to one. Similarity becomes one. Dissimilarity multiplies and becomes many. So, when one truth appears as many, then this manyness is called world, which is ever changing, eternally changing. That is how the doubts are created, confusion is created. So, whatever you see, whatever you hear, names and forms, they are ever changing. That's how they are not reliable. That's how you should not rely upon this visible phenomena. It is ever changing. Not only mind, your body, your senses, your thoughts, your activities, not only your activities, everybody's activities, the whole world, the plants, the mountain, the air, the fire, the water. You cannot put the question why Ganga flows all the time, why it is not steady. Do you put such question? Then why it is named as Bhagirathi? Why it is named as Janhavi? Why it is named as Alaknanda, Mandakini, Yamuna, Saraswati? Why all these names? Why you have so many names? So mind also will have so many names. Technically, because it changes, so every change will have one name. You are now the student of Yoga Vashistha. You are the hearer. You are the seer. You are the understanding person. And you are the questioner. And you are the answerer also. And you are the human being. You are a male. You are a beautiful, most tasty breakfast also. Or the hungry lion. But are you not? You have some name in your house. You have some name in your market. You have some other name in the field. You have some other name in the school. So many names you change. You have so many names while walking in the street. Always your name changes. Everybody's name changes. And why mind has, why not one name? This question is baseless. Because you don't think over seriously, comparatively. Then only such questions arise.
Sorry, I am talking about myself. When I was 6 months old, that was me, that bhav was me. And now that bhav which I am inside, that bhav is me. Whatever name you
Go on
give,
thinking, go on thinking. Go on thinking deeply. All the questions are answered within. Go on thinking.
One question.
Yes, one question you have to go on thinking again and again.
Last question. Knowing and being is the same thing.
You don't hear whenever I say something, and you overhear everything. Hear attentively and think over whatever you heard. Contemplation is called thinking over the subject what you have heard again and again. Deeply go to the depth, then only you will get the answer. I have explained it 100 times, not once. 100 times. क्या पूछे?
Knowing and being is the same.
Knowing and being. How many times I have given you knowledge is of two kinds. One is informative knowledge and other is experiential knowledge. Have I not told you? You have forgotten. Knowing and being. The real knowledge, the experiential knowledge, which is called real knowledge, that is being, that is experienced, that is called being one with it. And all this knowledge, informative knowledge, is not being, it goes on changing. Have I not explained it many times? Go on thinking again and again, contemplating again and again, repeatedly on what you have heard. Then it will have a strong root in your mind, and then it will help you to understand everything. It will create a basement. वो क्या पूछे? ओम
जी,
क्या पूछे?
Swami ji, question was, what is the real meaning of chanting Om? Is it like using the vibration as we back to the state without any vibration?
Whatever sound is there in this world, it is nothing but vibration. So chanting Om or chanting whatever you speak, whatever you hear, everything comes under vibratory process, which is called energy. Energy means a changing phenomena, and every energy changes into some other energy. It goes on changing, and thereby it performs some actions. If change is not there, action is not there. So, this is a sound, and this is called primordial sound.
Yeah, primordial sound.
When the creation starts means the energy starts. So this is the primordial sound. Sound is called energy, and vibratory process. Vibrations are created. The first vibration is known as sound, and that is named as Om.
Swamiji, how can we the first disturbance in the universal balance? The disturbance is Om is not disturbance.
अरे सुनो तो यार बीच में सुनना नहीं.
Swamiji, it was a part of the question.
सुनना पहले part of the question. I have not answered the full question, and in between, if you go on putting questions over questions, then which question will be answered? Hear it, I am telling again and again, hear it, try to understand it, contemplate over it again and again, This is the only way to understand the thing. Or else you will have thousand doubts, and hearing all these is useless then. You will have no use. Hear it attentively and contemplate over it seriously. Then only you will get the answer. It is not some ordinary subject that, oh, there was a king and there was a king, there was a queen, both married each other and they died and the story is ended. This is not such a story. This is what we are analyzing every word meaning, and how it happens, why these words are used in what manner, logically, analytically, from all sides you have to see. Then only you will understand something. वो यही तो कर रहा है. Sound is nothing but energy, your electricity, your magnetism, your whatever, your prana also, your mind also, everything is the outcome of energy. The whole world is play of energy only. Energy means disturbance. Try to understand it. Energy means imbalanced state. Energy means a changing phenomenon. Energy means action and reaction. And this is how the world is illusory. You cannot understand what is what because it changes. And you will understand the reality when it becomes steady. I gave you examples several times. When you are driving a car very fast in a road, you don't see, you cannot read whatever is written on the signboards by the side of the road. You cannot read it. Whereas, if you get down from the car, stand there steadily, then only you can read it. So whatever is there, unless you are steady, you cannot understand it. So try to understand. Your one-pointed mind has all the answers within you. Till then, you have to go on concentrating upon your one question or your doubt, whatever you want to know. Unless mind is steady, you cannot get any answer. And that answer you cannot get from any book, and nor you can get it from any saints or sages or any preceptors or from any lecturer. Nobody can give you answer. You are the person to answer your own questions. Till then, doubts will survive. Take it for granted. When you experience this, my saying, then only you understand what I say. Unless and until your mind is one-pointed, neither you can get the answer from others nor from yourself. When the mind is one-pointed on any question or any object or any subject or any name or any form, if it is fixed upon one only, then all the information on that one you will get. This is the formula. All the answers are hidden in your question. How many times I have told you? Contemplate over the question. The question will dwindle into nothing. It will dissolve if you go on understanding the questions itself. The questions will dissolve. The answer will be revealed. This is how you have come. You can get any answer from any question. And finally, I will say, only one answer can answer innumerable questions. There is only one answer. This is the final answer. So pranab also, chanting Om also is a vibratory process. If you chant it with feeling, with some purpose, it can work wonder. It can work wonder. This vibration is the basic principle of the world. The whole creation is standing upon this vibratory process, the energy. So if you can concentrate on energy, that means sound Om. The Om is monosyllable. So naturally when you chant it, then your mind gets one pointed. And that one pointed vibration will have so much strength, it can change the whole world. That's how the Om is called seed word, the root word, the first and foremost vibration. That means an imbalanced state created very beginning, very starting point when the absolute equilibrium starts getting little disturbance. So by chanting Om, I can assure you can bring balance state to your mind, to the whole world, and any disease, anything you can cure. This is the Bijakshar of all the mantras. Mantras are powerful composition of words in a particular way, which will have tremendous power in it. When you think it, when you chant it, it creates the power, concentrated power, and that power can change or influence the less powerful powers. All these you can understand when you go on contemplating over the nature, how it runs, what does it do, why it does, how it does, how this creation started, where will it end, what is going on. The nature will unfold itself if you go on thinking. And on the other hand, I can say your mind is the nature, your nature. So the universal mind also is the nature of the absolute truth. The mind is called the creation, creative power. Mind is called energy. Mind is called creation. Mind is called action and reaction. Mind is everything. Mind is called bondage. Mind is called freedom. Mana eva manusyanam karanam bandham mokshayoho. It is the cause for your bondage and liberation. Mind thinks it is bound. Mind thinks I am free. Everything is work of the mind. And what is the nature of the mind? Changing. So the mind means it is nature. Mind is everything. So how many names you can have? All the names means no name. मन का कितना नाम है? मन का प्रायवाची नाम तो हजारों लाखों है. मन को ही कहते हैं कर्म, मन को ही कहते हैं संसार, मन को ही कहते हैं प्राण, मन को ही कहते हैं अहंकार, इसको कहते हैं चित्त, इसी को कहते हैं बुद्धि, इसको कहते हैं वैराग्य, मन को कहते हैं आसक्ति और विरक्ति. मन को क्या नहीं कहा गया. मन को ही कहते हैं तुम्हारे दर्पण, मन को ही कहते हैं छाया, प्रतिबिंब, मन को ही कहते हैं संसार. सब कुछ मन का विकृति को संसार कहते हैं. मन ही तुम्हारा शरीर है. बिना मन को चुप कर दो, कुछ है ही कहीं दुनिया में कुछ. A mind is silent. Can you put such questions on anything? Can you see this world? His mind is steady. Can you hear anything? Can you ask anything? Can you do anything? So whatever you do, whatever you think or whatever is there as the world within or without, that is called mind. And that mind also is known as the pranav. That mind also is known as the creative power, Saraswati. And when it becomes grosser, it becomes world, visible world. When it becomes finer, subtler, or superfine, that is called the basic principle of the power, that is Saraswati, which starts the phenomena, which starts the creation, the creative power. So, all these, whatever we discuss, world or changing phenomena or creating difference or action or reaction or this whole universe or prana or anything, any subject or object or any kriya means any process, whatever is under your mental thoughts, they are based upon acceptance and repulsion, rejection. Two things. स्वीकार करना और त्याग करना. And that's how power is called of two kinds. centripetal and centrifugal. Because the whole world is on the cycle, everything goes on changing. When it goes on rotating, the two types of power is created. One power is centripetal, means it is towards, always trying to go towards the center, and the other power is always trying to go out of the center. That's how this world is working. One has to be the just opposite of the other. Then only dualism starts. If one drags you outward, then other will drag you centerward. See, when the two children, they catch their hands tightly and fix their legs and go on rotating around. What happens? What happens? बच्चे खेलते हैं ना, हाथ को पकड़ के घूमते हैं, दो बच्चे, तो क्या होता है? एक तो हमेशा गिराने के लिए कोशिश करेगा, एक हमेशा खींचने के लिए, खींच करके रखने के लिए कोशिश करता है, तभी तो घूम सकते हैं. Balancing. If there is no opposition, then there is no possibility of anything. Opposition should be there. Then only dualism is possible. Then only creation is possible. Or else absolute truth exists for eternity. There is no possibility of any creation. This is how Om chanting also helps you in many ways. And finally, it will stop everything and enable you to be quiet. That's how the chanting of Om. First of all, it starts loudly and goes high and then comes down, and then slowly it becomes inaudible. It merges in silence. Nada bindu kalatitam. Beyond the sound, it merges in that silence, absolute silence, and it has come from that silence only. The first manifestation is the sound, and from sound, the sky, the basic first element out of 5 elements, which is called sky. It is the expansion or grossification of sound energy. So the whole world, the whole sky is the projection of sound only. That's how its small measure is sound. शब्द है तन मात्रा आकाश का, इसीलिए तन मात्रा मतलब छोटा सा एक मापने का, जो एक हमारे पास कोई वस्तु होता मापने के लिए. जैसे हम कुछ लंबाई को मापने के लिए फुट या मीटर, गज या मीटर हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं. उसको छोटा करते जाओ, मीटर को सेंटीमीटर, सेंटीमीटर को फिर करो छोटा, डेसीमीटर, मिलीमीटर, फिर और क्या क्या सब करते जाओ. और फिर बड़ा करते जाओ तो उसका भी कोई अंत नहीं, किलोमीटर और क्या क्या। इसी ढंग से छोटा से छोटा, बड़ा से बड़ा अगर कोई होगा, सच्चाई का स्वरूप भी ऐसे ही है, और जो झूठ दुनिया का स्वरूप भी ऐसे ही है। दोनों को दोनों अनुरणीयान महत्व नहीं है। In both the ends, it is smaller than the smallest, finer than the finest, and grosser than the grossest, bigger than the biggest. This is how the great saints and sages have declared it. So what Vashistha meant to say, all these worldly phenomena, worldly cycles, they stand up onto opposite states. That is, one is acceptance, other is rejection. One is centripetal, other is centrifugal. Rag or this, attachment and detachment or hatred. Madra Sankalpat Manorup Nabhiko. Mind is Sankalpat means it is nothing but thought waves. नाभि को राग जैसा आदि से विक्षोभित भ्रमित यानी नचाए जाने पर संसार भी चक्र प्रयत्न से रोके जाने पर भी वेग पूर्वक नाचता ही रहता है, because it is based upon dualism, so it cannot stop. The world cycle goes on rotating and rotating again and again. It never stops, eternally goes on rotating. Rotation means recreation or repetition. Rotation means repetition. इसीलिए उत्तम पुरुषार्थ की यानी ज्ञानाभ्यास एवं वैराग्य की दृढ़ता का अवलंबन कर शास्त्रानुसारी युक्तियों से विवेक ज्ञान रूपी बल प्राप्त कर चित्त रूपी संसार चक्र की नाभि का अवरोध करना ही चाहिए. Subtler than the mind is intellect, or higher than mind is intellect. Subtler than, higher than, deeper than, purer than the mind is intellect. So it is a decisive power. Mind is just a changing phenomenon. But when two thoughts clash against each other, the third diagonal force is created. That is, the third thought is created, which is decisive thought. This process is called intellect. And this intellect again goes on deciding. Two decisions will have third decision. In this way, finally comes the discriminative mind, which has only two thoughts. One is permanency, other is impermanency, transitoriness. Vivek means discriminative power is just in between two. There are not more than निश्चित क्या है, अनिश्चित क्या है, कौन अविनाशी है और कौन विनाशी है, दो के अंदर। तो उसको जो फाइनल विचार करके देता है जो बुद्धि, इसी का नाम विवेक कहा गया। The decision between the final two, what is permanent and what is impermanent, when it is decided, then that is the process of final decision, which is called discrimination, and then there is no mind, only 1/3 remains, and that 1/3 cannot remain for long. It will disappear because thought cannot remain as a thought for a long time. So the advice is all your efforts, whatever you do, should be centralized on the practice of knowledge. That means this process. Using your discriminative power and trying to give up all these transitory, impermanent subjects or objects or actions or reactions, all your transactions, which is transitory, you should give it up and you should go towards the permanency. That is by the use of your discriminative power. And then you have to fix your mind on the chitta. Chitta means subconscious mind. Mind means outward, gross, and flow of the thoughts. And it starts from the chitta. Chitta, the subconscious mind. That chitta is taken as the seed, just as the tree is the outcome of continuous changing phenomena taken in the seed. When the seed is in favorable conditions, it gets favorable conditions, then it starts sprouting. When it sprouts, then it starts growing. Growth means one becomes many. Growth means one becomes many. One seed has become many seeds when it is in the process of growth. A tree comes out of one seed and then it gives you so many numbers of seeds. That is called the final yield. This process goes on everywhere in every field in this world, because the starting point has started in this way. Eko ham bahusyam. I am one, let me be many. Let me be many. One becomes many. And through a process, that process is called worldly process, world creative process. Creative process means changing process. And that changing process means that we call it growth. And if you go on analyzing, then giving up the past and accepting the future and going on changing and creating differences. And this is how all the confusion starts. This is the work of the power, energy. So it is called Maya, the play of energy. He advises, if you can fix the gross mind on the subtle mind, this is how the process goes. Uddhared atmanatmanam. You must save yourself by yourself. Self, I have told you many times, self means a changing meaning. Self means the central point. When you consider between the senses and the body, the senses are called self. When you compare the senses with the mind becomes the self. When mind is compared with intellect becomes the self. Superior becomes the self. Superior means subtler also, or intense, more intense, more centrified. That is called self. And these meanings, they change when the self becomes inner and inner. So the Supreme Self is the absolute center. That means absolute substratum. That means the support for everything. That means the causeless cause, absolute one singularity. But there is no possibility of second. That is the absolute center. That is the absolute substratum, or the holder, or the cause for everything. So he says, when your gross mind is fixed upon the subtle mind, that means the chitta, the seed part of the mind, then slowly it will come to some resting mood, sleeping mood. It will rest on one, though it is a seed. It has got the capacity to create thousands and thousands of the future trees. But yet it is in a dormant state. It is only one. So the process narrated by Vashistha is to fix your mind on the central mind, that is called subconscious mind, that is chitta. And then if you do it again and again, practice it, repeat it, then there is possibility of subsiding of the world. World will disappear. World will disappear in a short time. Gross mind means ever changing, ever restless thought waves. Gross thought waves. And subtle mind means the subconscious mind, which is in a seed form, more settled. And when you fix up on your mind and the chitta, how it has controlled or centrified, how it has the power to unfold in gets slower and little less restless. That is the process, he says. हाँ जी क्या बोल रहे थे?
स्वामी जी मैं बोला था सर स्वामी जी आर टेलिंग लाइक भूल गया
और मेरे को अगर बीच में पूछोगे मैं नहीं भूलूंगा।
फट करके रुक गया मैं फट करके रुक गया स्वामी जी ना आइडिया
मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ इतने सटीक पॉइंट है उसको बहुत अटेंटिवली सुनना चाहिए तभी तो समझ में आएगा। ये कोई हम इतिहास ज्योग्राफी रट थोड़ी रहे हैं।
दैट्स व्हाई इमीडिएटली बंद हो गया स्वामी जी।
एक सेकंड के लिए अगर मन इधर उधर हो गया सब्जेक्ट गया।
हम लोग का वही हाल है। आपको तो याद रहता है कि आपने क्या किया था। आज से 6 दिन पहले आपने क्या कहा था तभी आप उसको मैं फॉलो कर लेते हैं। जब बंद करता है तो उसके बाद वही निश्चित किया।
ये तो दिमाग का एकाग्रता का रिजल्ट है। अनलेस यू कीप योर माइंड फिक्स्ड यू विल फॉरगेट एवरीथिंग।
वहाँ छोड़ दो जहाँ बोला था कि स्थिरता और गति एक ही चीज।
हाँ जी
आपने वहाँ पे छोड़ा था बोला था इसके आगे करेंगे स्थिरता और गति दोनों एक ही चीज।
चित्ता
स्थिरता और गति गति और स्थिरता दोनों एक ही है।
चित्ता
स्थिर स्थिर स्थिरता
स्थिरता बोलो ना।
स्थिरता
मैं सुन रहा हूँ
स्थिरता और गति
मैं भी थोड़ा कम सुनता हूँ।
पूरा ना डोर इज इक्वल टू विंडो।
हाँ स्थिरता 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 means steadiness and movement. They are one and the same thing. There is no movement really in reality. There is no movement because the steadiness is not seen, not observed. That's why that non-observance is known as unsteadiness. That's how the doubts come and mind becomes restless. Because the reality is hidden, is not seen clear. The clarity is not there. We are coming again because unless we repeat it, you will not catch the past points. He says you must adopt the processes given by the scriptures because you are a neophyte, because you are a questioner, because you want to know, so you have to follow also. When you ask a question to somebody standing before you in a roadside, what is the road for Gangotri? There are bifurcations. 2 roads are there. Somebody is standing there nearby. You have to ask because you will have doubt. When you ask, my dear friend, can you direct me which road is for Gangotri? Then he will tell you, my dear, go by this way. When you have asked, what does it show? You have art means you are ignorant on that. You don't know it. That's why you have art. And when somebody answers in any way, whether he is right or wrong, that is different question altogether. Because you are ignorant, that's why you have art. Then your duty is to accept whatever is told, whatever is the answer. You have no right to argue. Why? Because you are ignorant, you have to put the question. अगर तुम सवाल किया है तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि अज्ञानी हो, नहीं जानते हो, तभी तो सवाल कर रहे हो. हाँ, दूसरे ढंग से भी सवाल किया जाता है. Sometimes the students put the question to the teachers. Sometimes the teachers also put the question to the students. Both are opposite to each other. Questions sometimes are asked to know the reality, to get the answer. On other occasions, the teachers put the question to the students to know their knowledge, depth of their knowledge. In both ways, the questions are put. If the teachers put the question to the students to make it aware or to know where does he stand, what is, how much he knows, then only he will go forward. The teacher will teach. That's why the questions are put. But generally, the students put the questions all the time. Only the examiner, one who wants to examine the knowledge of the student, then only he puts the questions once in a while.
And it can be for self-confidence also, that whether just another person is singing
the students generally put the question. So, this type of questions are from the ignorant side, and the answers should be accepted. Whatever is told to him, it should be accepted. So he says, you must follow the words of injunctions of the scriptures, and you must apply your skill. Skill is called yoga. Yoga karmasu kausalam. You must apply your skill, and you must take the help of your discriminative power, and then only there is possibility of disappearance of this world. That means everything, all the doubts, all the illusory phenomena disappears. मात्र कहीं पर ऐसी कोई वस्तु उपलब्ध है ही नहीं जो उत्तम बुद्धि तथा सौजन्य से परिपूर्ण शास्त्र सम्मत पुरुषार्थ से प्राप्त न की जाए. My dear Ram, there is nothing in this world which is unachievable by the help of your sharp intellect, by observing fully, sincerely the words, injunctions of the scriptures, and putting your energy, all your energy to achieve the goal. There is no such object in this world which is not achievable. And Upanishads always say the absolute is the last achievement. So it is said, after achieving which there remains nothing which is more achievable. Knowing which there remains nothing more to be known. So जिसको जान लेने के बाद फिर और जानने के लिए कोई बाकी नहीं रहता है, जिसको पाने के बाद और कोई प्राप्तव्य वस्तु बाकी नहीं रहता है इस दुनिया में, वो है परमात्मा का स्वरूप ज्ञान. Oh my dear Ram, try this. इसीलिए बाल बुद्धि से कल्पित एकमात्र दैव पराधीनता का परिचय कर और असली प्रयत्न का आश्रय कर. सबसे पहले पुरुष को अपने चित्त का निरोध करना चाहिए. वो क्यों कहा था चित्त के ऊपर मन को एकाग्र करने के लिए? क्योंकि चित्त के ऊपर अगर मन एकाग्र हो जाता है तो चित्त ज्यादा देर नहीं रह सकता है, वह निरोध हो जाता है. चित्त वृत्ति निरोधी योगा कहा गया. योगा चित्त वृत्ति निरोध. Yoga is nothing but the stoppage of the vibratory process of the subconscious mind. Vibratory process means creating thought waves. That means when you fix your mind, gross mind, on the chitta, the subtle mind, the root of mind, then mind becomes one-pointed, and then it cannot remain as chitta, subconscious mind, for a long time. It will disappear automatically. It will lose its so-called existence. It will exist as real existence, unchanging existence. So that was the process he told before. Now he says, "Oh Ram, don't depend upon your luck. There is no luck. Your fate. Don't depend upon your fate. Fate is created by yourself. Fate is created by yourself. Your fate is under your clutches. तुम्हारे किस्मत और भाग्य जो है, दैव जिसको कहते हो, वो तो तुम्हारे हाथ मुट्ठी में है. दैव बनता कैसे? How does this fate get created? Who creates it? Who is the owner of the fate? You are the owner of the fate. When one thought, see this formula, don't forget it. It will help you. When one thought repeats again and again, it creates some desires. It gets associated with the sense objects, and the desires are created. Attachment is created, and from attachment you get possessiveness over the object. That's how the desires are created, and desires are innumerable, unending. Unending. It is everlasting. If one desire is fulfilled, it will give rise to 1,000 others. In this way, desires are created, And when the desires are repeated, then you try to fulfill the desires, and that is the process of life, so-called worldly life. And for that, you go on doing actions. You do self-effort to achieve that desired object. That's all. That is the central meaning of our whole progressive or evolution of life. That is called life. And if that repeats again and again, that becomes your habit. And that habit repeats again and again, that becomes your character. And that character repeats again and again, that is your faith. You are the creator of this faith. So know how to think. Sadhana means spiritual practice means this is the essence of all the scriptures of all the religions ever found on this earth or in this world. What is that? The effort should be such, it should end in effortless state. And when you go on doing your effort, your self-effort becomes your faith. You are the owner, you are the boss, you are the controller of your thought, your process, faith. So try to think properly. Have positive thoughts, have harmless thoughts. Repeat it again and again. Your faith will be so beautiful, so it will be so giving good results. It will end in a rest, not restlessness. This is how sadhana is meant. Sadhana means do whatever you like, but the aim of sadhana is to rest, not to do anything. And that is possible when you stop your mind. Mind consciousness. And mind rests also. It rests negatively in deep sleep and positively in meditation. It rests. Everybody enjoys the deep sleep, so that is most sweet thing in this world. Sleep is so sweet. Everybody likes to sleep. It gives you energy.
Swamiji, regarding this sleep, I just want to ask. They say like when you are sleeping, the self is with that supreme self. Whether it is true, then if it is true, then why it is
Negative. Deva paradhintan himana. You are not under the control of your fate, but you are the creator of your fate. If you show your palm to some palmist, what do you know? Your fate. Your fate is in your hands, in your process. If you open it, your fate opens. If you close it, there is no fate. So you are the master of your fate. You can create it, you can uncreate it, you can do anything you want. That depends upon your thought process. Know how to think. That is the sadhana. Means your spiritual practice or give up the idea that fate will do something. That idea should be given up. असली प्रयत्न का तो आचरण कर सबसे पहले पुरुष को अपने चित्त का निरोध करना चाहिए. First and foremost, the important practice is to stop your subconscious mind, to stop your mind. This is what Vashistha explaining to Rama the process of practice, the way to achieve that absolute blissful state. So tomorrow we shall see. Thank you all.
हरिओम स्वामी जी प्रणाम.
Pranam, bhai, pranam. My pranam to all. Huh?
प्रणाम स्वामी जी, हरि ओम.
शिवानंद चौधरी जी.
हाँ, शिवानंद चौधरी जी जल्दी आ जाओ वापस.
हाँ स्वामी जी, मैं वही सोच रहा हूँ, मैं आ जाता हूँ जल्दी. प्रणाम स्वामी जी.
Don't say Corona stops you.
No,
You
no,
can-
no. I'm always eager to come back, Swami
We
ji.
were discussing, you are the master of your faith.
Yes.
And you are Purnamada Purnamidam Purnada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Sabda Brahma ki jai. Saraswati Maharani ki jai. Jo Vashistha Bhagavan ki jai.